Unmute. Unmute. Okay.
Okay, welcome everybody to our October 28th So What Zoomcast. We have a fabulous guest with us today. My name is Linda Hahn, and I am coming to you from Palm Bay, Florida. My co-host, Deborah Stanley, she's up there in central New Jersey. We are recording this whole broadcast, just so you know, and we do ask that you put your cameras on when it's time for door prizes so we can see what's in your glass. We are brought to you in part by Fox Chapel Publishing, quiltwoman.com, and Banyan Boutiques. And we'll have some Banyan Boutique bundles as door prizes at the end of the program. We got some really cool door prizes today too. So just because it's what we do, I'm a little bit of a weenie today. And instead of having my wine, I am drinking a mimosa. And it must be pretty cheap because it's a screw top bottle plug thing. So I'm not even asking anybody because I'm giving myself a ding dong. And now, Deb, I'm not, do I need to even ask you?
I still have the blow or 3/4 of a quilt. I got to be sober for that.
That's when you do your best work. Okay. Really, that's when you do your best work. So anyway, let me tell you about our guest. I lost her. Where is she, Deb?
Are you looking for me?
There you are. There you are. Let me tell you about our guest. We were walking through Quilt Market and Quilt Festival last year, and we saw this booth, and it was just beautiful. It had big flowers. It was bright. It was beautiful. And I said, oh my God, I have to go back. And I stalked her the way I like to stalk. I walk up and down. And I said, wow. I said, I know, she's going to have a book coming out. I'm going to get that. So when it came time to start looking for guests, I said, we're going to find her. And we looked for her and we found her. So Emily, hello.
Hi, everyone.
We're going to remove Deb and remove me. So it's all about you. Where are you coming to us from?
I am in Sandy, Utah.
Sandy, Utah. That's close to what's your airport? Salt Lake City.
Yep. So the capital of Utah is Salt Lake City, and I'm in a suburb. I actually just live right at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon. And just up the canyon, I can see right out my window is the top of the ski resorts.
Oh, wow. So do you have snow where you're at?
It actually snowed on, when was it, Sunday? Yeah. It snowed, just dusted the ground. So there's snow on the ground and on the roofs, but it'll melt and it'll melt. It won't stick around. It was just enough to water the plants.
Now, what made you get into collage quilts?
Oh, well, I have always been an artist, and my journey here was full of twists and turns, but really, I guess what kind of inspired me to jump into collage quilts was I had experienced a really devastating business failure in the quilt world a couple years ago, and it involved I lost a company that I had invested my life into and my money, and it was taken away from me by a bad investor. And I had hit a low point in my life, and I was just trying to pick myself up and figure out where to go from here. And I was very inspired by Susan Carlson and Laura Heine, and was, had seen their work around. And I thought, you know what, I think that would be a good fit for me. I'm going to give that a try, because my background is as an artist. I was a mural artist for many years.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, I'm going to apply kind of my art background to a quilt, because I love fabric too. I'm a quilter through and through, because I love fabric and I love to create with fabric. So that's how I got started as a collage quilter.
Wow. And you've built this up because you have a new book.
Yep.
And
Yeah, so I actually have, so I've been in business now for 2 years. Well, let's see, we launched in 2018, right, Amelia? Amelia is my daughter, she works for me. So we launched this company in 2018, and my first book came out last year. It's called Collage Quilter. I'll just show you, it's sitting here. So this is my first book. And my second book is shipping next month.
Ooh.
So that's coming out again too.
Is that on collage?
Yes, in fact, so I've developed kind of a new technique, and you can see the quilt behind me right there. This is the project that you make with the new book. It's a technique called parchment pressing. So this
That's a lot of chickens on there.
Pardon me?
That's a lot of chickens on there.
No chickens, but lots of feathered friends. Yes.
I'm from New York. Don't forget, city girl. It got feathers. It's a chicken.
Oh, got it. Okay.
No classification. Feathers, chicken.
Well, then, yes, it's got several chickens.
An owl is gorgeous. An owl. I do know what an owl is. That owl is gorgeous.
Thanks.
Wow. Wow. So tell us about your quilt.
So this quilt, you want to know about this quilt? I'm happy to pull some quilts over and just kind of show you what I do, but I'll tell you, this was really fun because I'm a bird watcher. I love birds, and all of these birds are native to Utah. In fact, the owl was inspired because I hear these owls right outside my window at night and hooting to each other. And I love owls. And this is a great horned owl. And so he had to go in my quilt. And I love quail. There's a funny story in the book about quail. And so anyway, I'm a bird person. And the fun thing about this quilt is that you can make each element individually. And you don't have to make all of them. You can make just a few. And then you make it with the parchment paper technique, and then you can create your own composition. And so your final quilt can be as large or small as you like.
Wow.
I'll show you another parchment pressing quilt. Amelia, do you want to grab that one down, and oh, here's another one right here.
I love it when family works for you. My husband works for me, but he works for beer. So
Works for beer.
needless to say, he's not very efficient. Squirrel.
Okay. So this is another pattern recently that came out. This is the Woodlands quilt pattern, and same thing. Each of these elements is created individually. So for example, let's just take a look at this little squirrel. I can sit and work on just him or the mushrooms, and then as I want to build it up, when I'm all finished, I take each element and just apply it to the background fabric, make the composition the way I want it, and then I can make it the size that I want it, and then I quilt it, and voila.
Wow. Do you do your own quilting?
I do. I just bought a long arm machine for myself. I bought it because I thought I would really like to do doodle stitching. But I'm finding out that I would much rather pay to have someone do beautiful quilting. Like there's a quilter that I have hired many times and she does great work and I love it. And then if I could have her just do all my quilts, then I would be totally happy. But sometimes I have to do my own because I have a time crunch and I can't wait for her. So I end up doing a lot of quilting, but it's not my favorite part. I love the painting with fabric, that's what I really love. I love playing with the fabric.
And do you, I was trolling your website. You have like little fabric bundles of your suggested fabrics.
Right.
In like colorways.
Yeah. So collage quilts are made, it's a really interesting process because there are no rigid fabric requirements. And there's no specific cutting instructions. So what you need is just a good assortment of fabric from light to dark. But you don't need very much. You just need a small amount. And I know it's really hard to, people when they're shopping for a collage quilt, a lot of times quilt shops won't sell less than a quarter yard, which is way more than what you need for a collage quilt. And so I just thought I would start collecting the fabric that I would use, that I want in each colorway. So that's what I'm doing. So right now we have green and pink and brown, and we almost have our purples. And so we're trying to just release a colorway every month. And the thing that's interesting about our fabric bundles is that they, it's just each bundle has 18 pieces and they range from light to dark, and then they're only 1/8 of a yard cuts. And I'm particular too about, I really like having 1/8 of a yard cuts because then I can cut off a small rectangle and prepare it with the fusible web, and then it folds up nicely and I can keep it nicely. So it's all been the way that I'm selling the fabric and the way I cut it. And the way I've curated these bundles is how I have learned I like to have my fabric. So it stays tidy and I've got a good assortment. So that's that with the bundles.
You're getting tons of questions here.
Oh, okay.
Jill's saying.
Are you okay reading the questions then?
That is the quilt you're teaching at Road to California, the squirrel quilt that you just held up?
Oh, yeah. The woodlands, yes, I believe so. I can't remember. I have a really bad memory, but I believe I am teaching this one and Clementine, right? I think so. Yeah, so this is the quilt.
Yeah, cool. And that is Road at Home?
Yeah.
And God, I don't know what day you're on. Shame on me.
Yeah, I can't,
okay.
I can't remember.
Nancy would like to know, how different is collage quilting versus applique?
That's a good question because I think there are a lot of similarities, but with collage quilting, the idea is that everything is going to, there are a couple differences, and in my mind, here are the differences. I'm very imprecise about the shape and the size that I'm cutting of each fabric piece. And, I'm going to show you, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have my daughter grab, I think there's, see if there's a parchment pressing or something in progress that I can kind of demonstrate. Yeah, bring that over. That's great. Thanks. Okay, so with applique, if this were your design that you were working on with applique, you'd use this template and you would cut the whole piece out of fabric, one piece, and then you would probably stitch around the edges so that it wouldn't be raw edge unless you do raw edge applique. Well, the way I do it is that so each design is overlapped by multiple pieces of fabric. So you can see, if I were to count how many pieces it takes to create this little image, it's probably, there are probably 6 or 8 different fabrics, but each piece is kind of a random cut. And then everything overlaps. And let's see if I can Let me see if I can show you. So if I just peel this off, this has the seam on the back. I'm trying to get some light in here so that you can see the overlap. You can kind of see it right there. Every piece overlaps the other by about 1/4 of an inch is what I recommend. And so that's the difference. So now, once I have my piece, and it's got the fusible web on the back, then I can just take that and apply it to the background fabric where I want it. And then that's all I have to do. Once I adhere it to the foundation panel or the background that I'm working on, I quilt it, but I don't quilt around every single edge. So that's another difference with applique, traditional applique.
Wow.
So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Peggy says it looks challenging, not for the faint of heart, but I think after you just explained that, it's not as scary.
It's actually super simple. And one thing that I'll show you too is, for example, hey, Amelia, you know what? I'm wondering if we could if I could have you get the Clementine quilt from downstairs. Okay. It's in my laundry room. So I have a lot of my patterns begin with a pre-printed foundation panel, and that panel has the gray, each area. I'm gonna pull this out and show it to you. Okay, so this quilt is, you can see it right there. I'll show you the original somewhere. It's around here. But to get started, what I do is many of my quilts start with this pre-printed foundation panel, and it's a cheater cloth. So you will apply your fabric pieces.
Oh, wow.
Right to this and it gives you, the gray tone is a guide. So as long as you can decide, okay, this fabric is darker than this fabric. And that's why I do my fabric bundles in a spectrum of light to dark. So then you can just take your set of green fabric that's the lightest, and it just all goes right here, and you just cut it and make it, and you just make it fit right there. So a quilt that might look really complicated, do you want to hold it? Yeah, I'll hold this. So a quilt like this that might look really complicated this is a beginner quilt. And the fun thing for me has been to see I run a Facebook group where I do tutorials and I teach people how to do this. And so everybody was posting their pictures of their Clementine quilt, and there were people who had never made a collage quilt before, and they were absolutely gorgeous. They were just stunning. And it's because I teach simple principles. I've tried to make it really easy. I want people to have so much fun and success with my patterns. So this one, for instance, if we look carefully, this you can see all the darker greens down here, the mid-tone greens, and then the light greens. And again, you're just going to cut, and the pieces are quite random. Cut them and apply them on the section where it should be darker. And then the pattern obviously guides you and shows you where the darker sections should go. And that's the same with each Clementine. In the pattern, under the pattern, or the foundation pattern, it will show you, okay, well, this is where you should apply your darker colors. These should be your mid-tones. And then this is where you do a highlight. So it's really like paint by number with fabric.
Yeah. So, do your kits include you use steam seam?
No, my kits, I sell seam on my website, but I don't include them in kits. I'm just barely starting to create kits. In fact, the very first genuine kit that I'm going to be selling is a little cardinal. Should we give them a little sneak peek of it? Where is it? Do you have is it over there somewhere?
And that includes fabric?
Yeah, it will include fabric. So this will be my very first project with the fabric that I've curated. So when you purchase my patterns, yeah, what you get is the pattern, the instructions, and then the supplies can be purchased separately on my website.
Wow. and you have tutorials on your website. You really give them a lot on your website.
Yeah. So as I said, I mean, it's really important to me that people have success with their projects. So I have a YouTube channel where I have lots of tutorials. I have lots of tutorials on my website, but the best tutorials that I have are on my Teachable platform. So I have several video tutorials that go into depth about, walking through the various steps of making a collage quilt. There is one freebie that's about purchasing fabric for collage quilters, but one of my door prizes today is going to be that tutorial bundle. So I have 3 classes that talk about color theory, and then my methods, and what's the other class that I do, Amelia? I can't remember.
Here, I'll look it up.
I
right
have
now.
a brain cramp. But those video tutorials are on my Teachable platform, and that's something that I'm going to give away for the door prize.
Wow, so you guys better get your glasses ready and your signs, because you're going to want to entice her to look at you. Telling you now. So we got Steam Seam is your fusible of choice.
Yeah, let me clarify, because I see a question right there. In fact, I can see the questions if you want me to.
Oh, okay.
I'll go. Okay, so there have been several questions about the fusible. My favorite fusible is actually a product by the Warm Company, and it's Light Steam-A-Seam 2. I don't like their original Steam-A-Seam. It's too stiff and it's too heavy. I prefer the new version, which is called Light Steam-A-Seam 2. And that is particularly for my parchment pressing method. And that's, my daughter just brought this over. So this parchment pressing method, this is a really good example. This is the pattern that will be coming out just in the next week. That has all the fabric in it as well. But the Light Steam-A-Seam 2 is the product that works with my using parchment paper. Okay, so let's just, now, maybe you can help me, Linda, make sure I don't miss any questions. Do you want me to I can just go down and I'll just answer them, or do you want to moderate? What's the best?
No. We usually give our guests the choice whether you want us to feed you the questions, or some of them, I don't know what you're watching on. Some of them got a little screen that they can't see them.
Okay, I can see the questions. So I'll go ahead and make sure. First of all, I like you look great today, Linda.
You like that response?
Okay, so we've answered questions. I see some people from Seattle and from Canada. Hello. And Texas, LA Dodger. Congratulations to you, LA Dodger fans. Okay, so Beth has asked me to explain the parchment pressing technique really quickly. Let's see. Let me show you. Amelia, do you want to have? Sorry that I have to keep asking my daughter. I just wasn't sure what questions. Would you grab maybe the Raven, and I think there's a Raven in process with I'll just quickly give you an overview of this parchment pressing technique. And while she's getting that, I'll answer a few more. So,
This one.
yeah, and the template that goes behind him.
Okay.
Thanks. So, let's see. Someone said, do you put Steam-A-Seam on the whole 1/8 of a yard at the beginning in order to speed things up? So that's a great question, because I actually don't like to store my fabric with Steam-A-Seam on it. So that's why I like to have an 1/8 of a yard cut. So if I have an 1/8 of a yard, right, that's 4.5 inches by the width of fabric, then I can cut off just a good rectangle. So my rectangles are maybe 6 or 8 inches long, because if I'm, depending on the size of collage that I'm working on, if I'm doing something really small like this, I don't need very much fabric. So I'll just cut a small square off and put the get that prepared with the Steam-A-Seam, so that I don't store a ton of fabric with Steam-A-Seam. I prefer to just be able to use what I need, and then I can fold it back up and store it really easily. Fabric that has Steam-A-Seam on it, I don't want to have to fold it up, and it needs to lay flat. So I try not to keep a whole lot of fabric with Steam-A-Seam on it. Okay, so someone asked for how do I do this parchment pressing technique. So this is a really great example. So in my book and in the parchment pressing patterns, there is a template like this. And again, you can see the gray tone areas, right? So what I would do is select my fabric based on these gray tones. So this raven actually has 4 gray tones. So I've got the dark, the medium, and then all the way up to the very light. And I have multiple pieces of fabric that fit into each category, right? So they become my value sets. So I have a dark value set all the way up to a light value set. And then I'll get my fabric ready, and then I'll put this on my work board, and I take a piece of parchment paper, and then I can see through my parchment paper, and I will often outline it like this so that I can see exactly where the gray tones change. And then I just start cutting pieces up and applying them to the parchment paper. Now, one kind of interesting thing about the parchment paper is, it's just the parchment paper you buy at the grocery store that you use to line cookie sheets. So it's designed to be heat resistant, right? And kind of a non-stick surface. So the first couple of pieces that I put down, I have to actually iron them to the parchment paper if they're not sticking, just to activate the adhesive. And then I make sure that every single piece after that overlaps, and so that it actually is now adhering not only to the parchment paper, but to the other pieces of fabric around it. And then that's how I just build this up. I just add pieces based on the value section that I'm working on and build it up until the little guy is done. And then I keep it on the parchment paper until I'm ready to compose my final project or my final quilt. So I hope that answered the question. That's a quick overview about my parchment paper.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so let's see here. Light Steam-A-Seam 2. Yes, thank you, Linda. So Denise asked machine or hand stitch. That's a great question. So I actually, let me grab this little duck behind me. So normally I just machine quilt, that's what I am. I'm a quilter. But for this little project, I didn't want to quilt. I wanted to have some fun with embroidery. So after he was finished, I put him on this lovely tweed. I think it's just a pretty wool tweed. And I took some embroidery thread and some silk ribbon. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to embellish him with some embroidery. So I'll turn him around and I'll show you all the embroidery stitches that I did. And then I put a facing on him, and this facing has these corners. And so I just stuck my hanger in there and hung him up. And I'm kind of excited about this because this was really fun and super, super simple. And I had fun with the stitches. So when you are asking machine or hand stitch, this one was hand stitched. Wow. Okay. So let's keep looking to see if there are other questions. So Nancy asked, how do you prevent the dark fabrics from shadowing under the lighter fabrics? That's a great question. And it's actually something that I never worry about. Because if it does cast a shadow, a lighter, if it, like this one right here, you can kind of barely see. This one is on top, this lighter fabric's on top, and this really dark one is below it. You can kind of see it, but you would never actually look at that because it's just, it blends in. It's just part of the blending of the fabric. So it's not something that I worry about at all. The order of layering is not something that I worry about. I think I would like to show Mayday as well. Okay, so let's see. Let me look down and see if there are other questions. So Nancy, I hope that answered your question. And Beth, I'm glad that you got that.
Everybody's looking for that cardinal kit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not available quite yet, but if it will be, I'm hoping to launch it next week. And so if you're on my email list, you'll get an email about it. I'm also going to just show you another quilt right here. This was a great example.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, that's great. So this is an example of my parchment pressing technique, and I absolutely love this quilt. I love it because it's bold and it's colorful, and I'll just tell you, I've been kind of wanting to like make the perfect flower. I have made a lot of floral quilts. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And back to the question about layering, you can see when you're working on a project of this size, there's no way that I'm going to worry about, you know, a 1/4 inch layering that happens here. The other nice thing about this pattern is, again, you can take these templates and make a quilt in any composition. You don't have to use my composition, but you can take just one and make a pillow, or, you know, something like that. Is it heavy?
Amelia.
Amelia, say hi.
You.
Hi.
Hello.
Isn't she cute?
She is cute.
She's such a little punk. She is a funny sassy pants, sassy frass. Okay, let's see if there are some other questions. Linda, how are we doing on time?
You got about another 5 minutes or so.
Okay. Okay, so it looks like I think I've answered everybody's questions.
I think there was a question about whether all the fabrics are solids.
Oh, that's a great question. I actually don't like using solids at all. And most of my quilts, I don't use any solids. I really prefer to have, that's the beauty of collage. I love mixing different prints. And so I never, very, very rarely purchase solid fabric. I just don't. I mix lots of prints. I use lots of batiks, and I actually use the reverse side of fabric when I need to get just the perfect shade of something. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that.
one from Cheryl
Okay.
about quilting through all the layers.
Oh, great one. Let's see here. I have a connect to my device. No, I'm not going to connect that right now. Sorry. Quilting through the layers. Okay, so this is a great question. Yeah, because you are quilting through, you know, 2 or 3 layers, and you're going to be quilting through the steam-a-seam, and that's why I like the light steam-a-seam too, because it's so much thinner. But the key with quilting that I have found is I really like 100-pound thread. What is that? So fine. I think it's so fine. Micro quilting. I like this micro quilting thread, so I use that. And I'll kind of explain. On my long arm machine, I like the micro quilting thread. I do use Sew Ease, what is it? Sew Ease. Do you know what I'm talking about, Amelia? Get that little bottle of stuff that I put on the needle. And so the needle goes through. I've kind of, yeah, I haven't had much problem. There will be a little bit of buildup on your needle, and I just scrape it off with my fingernail, and it hasn't been a big deal at all. but I do put this sewer's aid on my needle on my long arm. When I'm sewing with my domestic machine, I think the number one key is just have a really sharp needle. And if I'm not using my stitch regulator, then I'm using a walking foot. And it definitely, it's different than going through just fabrics, but I haven't had any problem. So I guess the other thing too is I started out as a collage quilter. I have only quilted collage quilts. I have never quilted just plain quilts that don't have multiple layers or fusible on them. So that's it. To me, it's not that big of a deal. So, okay, Linda, what else?
Okay. Alcohol wipes help keep the gunk off.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Cindy. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, Deb, you got anything?
There's a question from Peggy about pieces. What anchors the pieces? Is the seam enough if there's no quilting stitch in a piece?
Good question. So when I'm doing a collage quilt, I do always recommend that the pieces that you do dense quilting. And by dense quilting, I say no more than a 1/2 inch between stitch lines, because my goal is to make sure that I stitch down every single piece. So I have dense quilting that always tacks it down. And then for, in the case of this, he obviously is just adhered with the seam, and he's just a wall hanging. He's small. There's no reason for me to have to sew through and tack down each piece. So I'm not worried about him.
Do you use a computer program to create your design in grayscales?
Yes, I am always using Photoshop and Illustrator. So I'm an artist. I will often draw something out, and then I will put it into most often Illustrator. I use Illustrator because I can scale things up and down and get the size that I want.
That's out of my skills.
It's a special, you know what, Adobe Photoshop is pretty easy, but Illustrator is a different ball of wax. Not very many people will go into that.
I can't even do Instagram. We won't even go there.
What's going on? This is tech. This is high tech.
Yeah. Are you teaching virtual classes other than Road to California?
I do teach on YouTube, and I do a lot of teaching in my Facebook group, and I do have some things scheduled, some events that were canceled this year that have been rescheduled for next year. So I've got a calendar of events on my website, and yeah. So the answer is yes. I teach quite a bit online.
Can't wait for you to be at Road. Yay! Yay!
Yay! I'm excited too.
Okay. All right. All right. Last call for questions. Last call for
All right.
questions. Okay. Don't you go away,
We're good.
Emily. Pause. Time for them to take me away.
Yeah, I think so.
Really, Deb? You'll come get me, right?
Yeah, right.
Somebody will get me. Somebody will get me. They'll be tired of me. So, what do we have? We have coming up, we're working on our November class offerings. On first week in November, I have my test workshop for my Teach It class, which is going to be really interesting. And finally, from last week, I did get my sample done for my Celtic Italy. I don't have all the stuff yet for kids, so it'll probably be the end of November when we do the class. Or my staff, who works for beer, he's on our case about getting stuff ready a little earlier than what we're doing, so he can get it in the newsletter. So our web special for October is Rock That Quilt Block Weather Vane, Rock That Quilt Block Hourglass, and our new book, Rock That Quilt Block Country Crown. These are in the, you got to go on the monthly special tab on our website. All 3 books, and it includes shipping for $35. If you go on the other place, you know, where you're sending Jeff and his bimbo du jour to Caribbean, if you go on the other place, you're going to pay over $60 for all 3. So you can put wine on my table and can't send me to the Caribbean because the Caribbean don't want American at the moment. But you can put me on a pool float with my wine for $35. I will put that our website in the chat as well. You can go there. Let's see, we have our lineup for November. Hey, next week we have MJ Kimmin. And if you haven't seen her stuff, she has a fabric line with Northcott. She does those gems, and then she does the paper piecing with the gemstones. It's pretty cool. We have Michelle May. I don't know if she's here today. You see Michelle May? Michelle May is a friend of mine from South Carolina. She does some really beautiful wool stuff. It's not your regular wool stuff, but she does like reverse applique wool stuff with the buttonhole stitch, and she does beads and stuff, you know, like Debbie would like. Debbie used to annoy me on our road trips because she could bead in the car and not spill anything. So it's just like one of those things that I'd like to just slam on the brakes. Because I'm a good friend.
Nice.
I love you, Deb. All right, where's Heather? I just saw her. Heather Kojan, there you are. Hello.
Hello, how are ya?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Welcome to my classroom.
Oh, that looks lovely.
Yeah.
Hey, you're coming on November 18th.
Yes.
What are
Yes.
you gonna talk about? Did you pick something? Pick a subject? Yeah, like I'm sandbagging you right now.
Maybe. No. Yeah, like I have an idea. A lot
You
of
have
what
to tell
I
us
do,
now.
a lot of what I'm doing now, like you can see like some of my stuff, like this one behind me. I'm teaching tomorrow, so that's why that's there. But a lot of what I'm doing lately is like modern scrap quilts. So if you have scraps in your studio, might be a good time to tune in. I think I'm going to do a little demo. Gonna do a little giveaway, a little trunk show,
You're being kind of nice,
a
yeah.
little cocktail. I heard, well, Linda told me this, that I get extra bonus points if I have incriminating photos of her. And I think I have
Oh.
one. And it's from a few years back, but I'm happy to share that. And I don't know.
Does it involve French fries?
No,
So it's not the French fries up the nose.
no. You probably don't even remember this one.
Uh-oh.
So it'll be a surprise for everybody.
Uh-oh. Maybe you're not coming on.
It's fine. You have all your clothes on, pretty much
Okay.
all of them.
Okay.
Almost entirely all your clothes. If I hope, and see, now that I say this, I hope that I actually have it. I think it's in my text messages somewhere. So I'm hoping that when I go to find it, it'll be there. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit of a search. I'm gonna find it though. It'll be good.
Oh, something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah.
Goodbye, goodbye. Where's my buzzer? Now I'm scared.
Nice.
My buzzer didn't come on.
All right.
That's what happened. And on our last show for the year, because we're going to shut down for the holidays, because it's going to be hard to get guests coming into December, we are going to be very thankful for our friends. We're going to be very thankful for our guests, with everybody who has volunteered to come on and donate their time to talk to you and just give you an hour away from all the COVID crap. So we're going to do a thank you to all our guests, and whoever wants to come back will come back and they can tell us what they've done since they were on. Because we've been doing this now for quite a number of times. If you want to refer your friends, you can tell them that we do have all the past episodes on our So What Zoomcast YouTube channel. And we also will put all of our guest contact information on a dedicated So What Facebook page. So you can go and you can look at their website and sign up for their mailing list. And everybody's going to go buy a Cardinal. You may want to put that pre-sale now, Emily. You want to put that as a pre-sale, and or they can get on your mailing list to know when it's coming.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So okay, that means everybody, you've been a captive audience, and we love you. That means it's door prize time. So let me go into gallery view. We have 2 pages, ladies, so don't forget. If you don't have your camera on, now's the time we want to see you. We want to see your lovely glasses and what you're sipping on with us. We have Siobhan there from Idaho, and she is the one who you want to suck up to because she gives everybody a thumbs up. She gets really excited at door prize time. Yeah, so you want to be really nice to her. So we got pretty much everybody on here. Stevie, you will be Quilt Woman, and we have Joyce Hughes is going to be Banyan Boutiques. So, Joyce, you ready? 2, please. You're muted.
Okay,
Round and round and round she goes.
going on page 1.
Yeah.
Up, Siobhan.
Siobhan! Oh, you suck up.
Thank you.
Where are you? Deb, where is she? I'm looking for you.
She's on my page 1.
There she is. I just had her. Okay, I know. All right. All right.
You want to know what's in my cup?
Yeah.
It's cinnamon tea.
Oh,
What do you think? Wanda?
It's early here.
Jill?
All right, you still get the door prize.
Ed. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Deb, you got her?
Got her.
Okay. Yeah, Joyce, number 2.
number 2. Okay, I'll go to page 2. Cindy Phillip.
Cindy Phillip.
Purple.
There we see you. All right, Cindy, is this your first time?
Yes, it is my first time.
Okay, welcome. So you're gonna get a little reprieve,
Okay.
just a little one. You drinking anything?
Yes. Mine is chamomile tea
Oh my God.
and a cup I bought in Florida.
Okay, she gets points for that She gets points for that. What do you think? Look, you're getting thumbs up, twirly thumbs,
Thumbs
up and down thumbs.
Okay.
Guys,
Okay.
make sure you put your email in
Put
the
your email
chat.
in the chat.
Yeah, you'll get an email from us to get your address to send to Banyan Batiks.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Stevie Graves.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
What's in your glass?
Blue moon, as always.
Attention quilters. Now you're getting the hang of this.
Yes.
Okay.
All
You are
right.
a quilt woman today.
I'm quilt woman every day. Cindy Rogue.
Cindy Rogue.
R-O-G-E. Is that Rogue?
Oh, I see her. I got her. Hi, Cindy. Oh, you're doing that bee. I'm so
Yes, the
jealous.
bees, the blossom.
I'm so jealous. I can't wait to start mine. That was from one of our past guests,
Yes.
Krista Moser. I got
Yeah.
that package. I haven't been able to do it yet. So what's in there? What's in that glass?
What was
What's in
that?
your glass? What's in that
Water.
glass?
It's water.
Glasses are for. Those red cups are, there's a purpose for them.
I know, I could say something else.
Yeah, there's a purpose for those red cups. There's all kinds of red cup parties. That's when you don't want anybody to know what you're drinking, like your husband, when you've had enough. Then you bring out the red cups. So, okay. My turn. Deb, you want to do page 1 and I'll do page 2?
This is what the instructions look like.
All right, page 1. I hope my page 1 is the same as yours. Madeline, I just lost page 1. Madeline,
Oh, she's excited. I love it. Yes, I got her. You're excited, Madeline. Did you run to your refrigerator and get something? Unmute yourself.
oh, there you go.
Hi.
Okay.
Unmute. Okay. This is my first time too.
Hi.
I have Diet Coke Splenda.
Yeah.
Who said that? Who's unmuted and say that? Mute those people.
It's
You know those
me,
people.
Leah. We're Diet Coke drinkers. Cheers.
You can have wine, you can have any kind of other kind of beverage. So some people, and she's not here, and I know who it is, it's a relative of mine. First time she was on, she was with her caregiver, and she was yelling at the caregiver. They said you had to have liquor. She's yelling at the caregiver. Go put some liquor in this glass. Anyway, so if you would please put your email in the chat, you will get an email with your downloadable pattern. And that will be
Cool.
from us. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. I'm in Southern California. We're burning up over here
Oh, okay.
with all the fires. Yeah.
Well, hopefully everything will be fine when it's time for road and you'll be in your house and ready to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Where's me? I'm gonna replace me. Okay. And Deb, you did page 1, you said?
I did, yes, I did one, page 1.
Okay. All right. I'm on page 2. Who is this? Ruth! Ruth! Don't disappoint me,
Hello,
Ruth.
hello.
Hello.
I have a drink,
You do?
but you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
It's just iced tea.
A lot of tea today.
your, I'm not even asking anybody, because all these people are teetotalers. Okay, they're gonna give you the thumbs up. So I want to get my buzzer in now. Ruth, put your email in the chat. We love you anyway.
Yay.
Yay, thank you for coming. And
Thank you.
now we go to Emily.
Okay, I think I'll give away, since there are 2 pages, I think it would only be fair to do both pages, right, of people. So I'm going to give away one of my video tutorial bundles to someone on each page, okay? Okay, so here we go.
All right, you girls better entice her.
Okay, Amelia, you're gonna have to, okay, is that on the screen?
Yes, it's her.
Okay.
Okay, what's her name?
Let's see.
El-
Aline Morris.
Elaine?
Elaine Morris. Okay.
Let's find you.
She's right. She's on the first page. Okay, I see you. Okay, I got you. Elaine, did you get her?
Spotlighter.
What's that?
Spotlighter.
Third row, last column on the right.
Wow,
I see you. Here you are.
great.
Okay.
Thank you. This is
You're
my
welcome.
first time being on.
Oh,
Welcome.
good.
Welcome. We told you we get goofy. We're just trying to make you laugh. We're
Okay,
giving
so-
you an hour away.
Linda, will you make sure that I get Elaine's email address? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
now let me do one more.
Now,
on
wait. We gotta grill her here.
What are you
already-
drinking?
All right. We got you on Spotlight. What do you have in your glass? Anything?
You are going to be disappointed. I'm sorry.
What's with all these plastic cups? What was in there?
An iced coffee.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Okay. Make sure you put your email in the chat.
All
If
right.
you don't put your email in the chat, then we'll have to track you down.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Come back next week.
I'll do that.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go to page 2 and I'm going to pick someone on page 2 now. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's see. Who is that?
Luke's iPad.
iPad.
Yeah.
Are you getting excited?
Marcella.
Marcy, are you excited? Unmute yourself. We want to hear your excitement. You're muted.
You're muted, dear.
Yeah, but unmute her. We can't miss this excitement.
Too funny. It's okay. You can stay muted. You still won.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Okay, I
Why
just
don't I-
ask what she's drinking. I mean, what's in your cup?
Yeah. Look, you
We'll
know
unmute.
better. You know
We'll
better.
unmute.
What is in there?
Iced tea.
I don't know. I can't get her to unmute.
Yeah, why can't we? Hang on, Marcelo. I don't know what.
Okay. Good job.
See, we do have fun.
There we go. Now, is she unmuted?
Okay, you're off. You're off. Be excited now.
Okay,
Hooray!
there we go.
I
Nice.
should get up and do a happy dance.
Yeah, do it. And you already did a great happy dance.
Keep your clothes on.
Go, girl. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Oh, boy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to try this technique.
You're going to love it. It's so fun.
Good, very good. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
So-
Thank you.
You were fabulous. You were fabulous.
Yes, she is.
Fabulous. So Yeah,
Okay.
the Cardinals, what's that? Did some, if you see a Cardinal, it's a reminder of someone who's passed. So a Cardinal is a really good one to have in your house to keep as a memory of someone.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, they say when you see a Cardinal in your yard or something, the person who's passed away is visiting.
Oh, that's
Am I right? Is that something like that?
I must live in a cemetery then, because my yard's full of them.
So, does anybody have anything else?
Okay.
Anybody have anything else? Comments, whatever? No? Okay. If anybody wants to join us for Zumba or Zumba toning, that's with 1 pound hand weights or water bottles. It's a community service. Yeah, and it's for free till the first of the year. You can join us, use the same number, same meeting information, same password. It's 9:30 Eastern time on Monday for Zumba, and 9:30 Eastern for Zumba toning on Wednesday. Everybody's welcome, and they tell me I'm easy to follow. It is not like the commercials with the young skinny girls with the 6-packs. I am fit and fluffy with a keg. Mine's paid for. So you know that we're doing some interesting stuff. And we have witnesses. We have Denise. Jill comes. Connie comes. Yeah, look at Jill. Look at Jill. Jill's like a warrior today. So everybody can come. So thank you all for coming. And we will see you next week. MJ Kimmon.
Thank you, Linda. This was really fun.
Emily, you rocked it. Amelia, you're
Thank
so
you
sweet.
so much.
Great to see all of you. Man, that was the highlight of my day.
Thank you.
Everybody take care out there. Stay healthy.
Great.
Yes,
Thank
everybody,
you.
yes. Wear a mask, wash your
Thank you.
hands. Keep this spike from spiking anymore.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
I am at use.equal.
Getting everybody that, oh, stop the recording.